I'd much rather be in a Leopard 2 as a tank crewman or an M1A1 than in any of those Russian tanks, the T-72s, B-3s, T-80s, T-90s, and what the Ukrainians currently have. I'd feel much better being in one of those tanks. And if I was a Russian tank crewman, I'd be worried seeing those tanks on the battlefield. In more general terms, what these kinds of weapon systems like the M1 tank, the Leopard 2, the Strikers, the Martyrs, it gives them an offensive, mechanized, armored punching force that can carry out offensive, create penetrations in the Russians' lines, and that also potentially can produce surprise and shock. And surprise and shock for a defender can be a really powerful thing. And the other thing this counteroffensive punch gives the Ukrainians is the ability to have the initiative. As many senior U.S. DoD, Department of Defense, and policy leaders have mentioned, the problem with the U.S. tank is fuel consumption. And it's not so much fuel consumption in terms of miles per gallon, but in terms of the idling needs for this turbine engine. In terms of fuel, it does burn jet fuel, but the M1 tank can also, in a pinch, burn diesel fuel. What it gives the Ukrainians is a very sophisticated fire control system, the fire control system that controls the main gun on the tank, which if it is aligned, or what we call bore-sighted correctly, and if the TRU is well trained, it can hit a moving target out to 2,000 or 2,000 meters on the move across rough terrain. As an example, it has a night vision capability, has a laser rangefinder, and it has a very good protective capability for the crew in the tank. So the M1A1 tanks, along with the Leopard 2s, the crew is much safer because the ammunition for those two types of tanks are outside of where the crew is sitting in the turret. And so if an M1 tank or a Leopard 2 tank is hit and everything is right in the turret, the rounds go up and out. Whereas on a T-72 tank, the rounds are inside the turret with the crew, and they're much more prone to be set off and cause catastrophic damage to the tank crew and the tank itself.
Adding Abrams to Ukraine's defense capacity is an important step. I just wish it was a step taken in a way that got these tanks there in the next few months, and not in 10 months, or for that matter, 2 years. And there are other options. There are Abrams tanks, I believe, in Europe. There are Abrams tanks set to go to different American partners around the world, including Egypt. They could be rerouted to Ukraine, so they got there expeditiously. But again, I think that the administration's caution remains an unfortunate aspect of their policy. I mean, to be prudent, of course, is essential. But to recognize when your partner, meaning in this case Ukraine, has the ability to deal a decisive defeat to your opponent, and Russia is very much a foe of the United States. It's just an absence of resoluteness on the part of the White House. So they will claim credit for sending the Abrams, and they will hope people don't read the fine print.